Warning: the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, winner of the National Radio Hall of Fame Award, Michael.
I didn't know it was like an Anthony Weiner kind of song. He was like watching and the girl with the new guy. Well, anyway, Anthony Weiner's fabled romance, the teen who he sexted with, has spoken out today. Why he did this with her, no one will ever understand, because Huma is a babe compared to this one, number one. But who's to account for a man's taste, as it is said? But number two, we learned today that Anthony Weiner was supposed to be sentenced today, but his sentencing was delayed because he's part of the New York City very, very liberal, progressive Democrat machine. Now, let me ask you something. Just saying here. What if a black kid from, let's say, just a home with no one around, no mother really, no father, whatever. Let's say he got arrested for the same crime as Anthony Weiner. Do you think he'd be walking freely today? Do you think he could get his sentencing delayed in order to investigate what kind of treatment he might need? I don't think so. Well, anyway, that's the beginning of the show. I'm trying not to talk about Trump, Schumer, Pelosi. It was too painful yesterday. I talk with men today who work with their hands, as I try to on a regular basis. But I'll tell you the truth. If you want to know what's going on in this world, talk with men who work with their hands. Talk with cops. Talk with firemen. Talk with guys who use jackhammers. Talk with electricians. Talk with plumbers. Talk with garbage men. When you deal with reality, you tend to know reality. And when you deal with fraud, what you know is nothing except how to scam people. I was watching a show last night on it wasn't American Greed. I had seen it on American Greed before. This was on like an investigative Discovery Channel. It was about some Scott Rothstein. You don't know the guy's name. Some corrupt lawyer from Florida. He started out in the Bronx, poor kid, worked his way into becoming a lawyer, went to law school. I think his grandmother paid for the law school. Instead of becoming a lawyer, an honest lawyer, he became a scam artist, moved to Fort Lauderdale, and he started scamming people by selling off the settlements of lawsuits that didn't even exist. And the biggest hedge funds were investing in the scam, and he became richer and richer and richer. But in order to attract the hedge fund operators, this guy had to buy the biggest mansion in Fort Lauderdale, marry the best-looking girl he could possibly find. If someone had one Lamborghini, he bought four. If someone had a 150-foot yacht, he had to have a 160-foot yacht. You know the type. The kind of scum that has destroyed America. Anyway, so I'm watching this thing about Scott Rothstein, and I'm getting angrier and angrier by the second, because it shows him over the years throwing the big parties, putting on the big show in Fort Lauderdale, and everyone loved him. They ran after him. He gave $1 million to this foundation, $100,000 to that foundation. It was all fake money, all robbed money, all invented, and it all went to charities. Does it sound familiar to you? It's the American way, isn't it? What does it have to do with politics? Nothing and everything. Because you see, along the way, he met some big political figures, including John McCain. Oh, yes, John McCain was seen with him, as were others. It doesn't mean McCain is corrupt. Corrupt is not McCain. McCain is just stupid. There's a difference between corruption and stupidity. And so, what do you draw from a thing like that? I don't know what to make of it, but it struck me. I got very depressed watching that thing about Scott Rothstein. How many Scott Rothsteins are in business today in America? How many Scott Rothsteins are in the political world today? Well, I'll let you figure it out. Well, we also have for you today a Hollywood Idiot of the Day. It's a feature I haven't done for a long while. Of course, we all know who that is today. It's none other than a Jennifer Lawrence. And we will look into her background and try to figure out how she became so stupid despite her great successes. I mean, she's an American actress. She's a good actress. But she's only an actress. And yet she went on a BBC-type show where she said that Mother Nature is attacking the U.S. because of Donald Trump's policies. No, I'm not creating this. The Armageddon of the hurricane that's about to bear down upon Florida, so says this great actress, this Hollywood idiot of the day, is because of God's wrath. Now, do I have to remind you what happened in the past when people use that analogy that God's wrath was because of homosexuality? Do you remember what the American illegitimate left did when things like that was said? Because it's crazy. Well, here she is, Jennifer Lawrence, telling us, do we have the soundbite? We may as well do it right now. Let's have some fun and avoid Trump for a moment. I don't think I have the time to do that.
And now, the Savage Nation Hollywood Idiot of the Day.
Go.
It's scary. It's this new language that's forming. I don't even recognize it. It's also scary to know that climate change is due to human activity, and we continue to ignore it. And the only voice that we really have is through voting. And
you have voted very recently as a country,
and it was really startling. You're watching these hurricanes now, and it's hard, especially while promoting this movie, not to feel Mother Nature's rage, wrath.
Rage, wrath. Well, Jennifer, I will not go to your movie ever again. I thought you were talented, but now I know that the talent is just what it is. Nothing. Zero. I loved you in American Hustle. That's the last movie I'll ever watch you in. So the hurricane is America, what is it? God's wrath? Oh, nature. She doesn't believe in God. She believes in Gaia. It's a result of wrath or rage. She wasn't sure, but she knows nature is doing it because of Donald Trump. And apparently, although she never went to college, she's an expert in climatology, which is interesting. I wonder where she had the time in Hollywood to study climatology and climate modeling and statistics, because I don't think that that's taught at Universal Studios. Well, she was born in Kentucky to a normal family. Her father was a construction worker. And it said that she went to a school and didn't enjoy her childhood due to hyperactivity and social anxiety. Okay. And she said her anxieties vanished when she performed on stage, and that acting gave her a sense of accomplishment. Woo. Well, and she became a cheerleader at school. She played softball, field hockey, basketball, which she played on a boys' team that her father coached. Jennifer, the genius on climatology, was fond of horseback riding, and she frequently visited a local horse farm, we're reading. And we read also that she has a damaged coccyx from being thrown off a horse. I don't want to read too much into that one. She damaged her coccyx when she got thrown off a horse. But she knew that she would be famous from an early age. She's probably going to get a Nobel Prize now in climate science. When her father worked from home, she performed for him, often dressing up as a clown or ballerina. Another daddy's girl, huh? When her father worked at home, and where was the mom? Let's leave it at that. Her first acting assignment was at the age of 9, with, you guessed it, the role of a prostitute in a church play based on the Book of Jonah. I couldn't have written this. If I were writing a script about a brainless Hollywood idiot of the day, a pretty girl, a smart girl, a good actress, who has the nerve to say that the hurricane is because of God's wrath at Trump for not believing in global warming, I couldn't have written better copy. Anyway, so for the next 2 years, she was homeschooled and took part in church plays and school musicals. And, of course, the rest is history. On a vacation to New York City when she was 14, she was spotted on the street by a talent scout, little Henry B. Mayer there, and arranged for her to audition for agents at 14, okay? Talent scout. You know what a talent scout is in New York City, especially then, don't you? Oh, you don't know what that is? What it means, what a talent scout is? Lawrence's mother was not keen on allowing her to pursue an acting career, but moved to New York City to let her read for the roles. Well, okay, she was homeschooled in Los Angeles, and this is what she wound up doing. She's a fine actress, a pretty face, a great body, and a moron, a total, absolute moron who blames the hurricane that's about to hit Florida on God's wrath, or rage. I mean wrath. I mean rage. I mean wrath. I mean rage. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's just a little fun. Today is Rock and Roll Friday, and I think what we're going to do today is this. When I was a teacher, which was 115 years ago, I think Lincoln was president around the same time I was a teacher. That would be 150 years ago, I think. I don't do the math very well when I'm this tired. I'm tired for some reason. After yesterday's show, which I gave it my all, everyone else in talk radio was talking about the hurricane, and I said I'm not going to do it because you can get that on television. You turn on the Weather Channel, they got great coverage. Everywhere you turn, it's hurricane, batten down the hatches. Now we read today, it may not even hit directly. It may fly, and Jerry Lewis, there it goes. We don't know. Let's hope so. But meanwhile, we found out one thing so far, which is that the government can get you to leave your house simply by scaring you. All of Florida is on the run. I don't know where they're all going. They can't all fit into a Motel 6 in Orlando, but the entire southern Florida is moving north. I don't know where they're all going to go. But we found out the government can scare you into leaving. Now, let's hope that the government was right. But it also shows you the government has total power over your lives, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Well, Irma continues unforgiving path of destruction towards Florida. Meanwhile, whatever happened to the North Korean nuclear test? So, as I said, I have not been a teacher for 150 years, but there were days that the students were restless and they wouldn't pay attention to my discussion of atoms, molecules, elements, and things like that. They were bored. And that's where most of you are today. Your brains are burned out on the hurricane. That's all you want to think about. That's all you want to watch. Meanwhile, Trump threw a tsunami at us the other day. I gave you 3 hours of it yesterday, 3 hours of the best talk radio in modern American history. And frankly, many of you didn't understand that. You thought I was simply criticizing Trump for the sake of criticizing Trump. What you didn't understand is that he was given one job to do, and now he's doing another, and that's according to a man who works with a jackhammer. Try to understand what I just said to you. I asked two men in the street today, workers in the street, what do they think of what Donald Trump's been doing? Do you think they don't know? Do you think the average guy out there who's killing himself to make a buck, to put food on the table, do you think he does not know what unlimited debt means? Of course he does. He said, my children's children's children will never pay off the debt. I thought this was all going to end when we elected a businessman. Instead, the guy wants to blow off the whole debt ceiling. You understand? So what I'm saying to you today is this. When the kids were restless, when I was a teacher, I'd say to them, you know what I want to do today? I want you to lead the class. So that's called Open Mic to Mike Friday. But you're going to lead the class today on the Savage Nation. The phone number is 855-400-7282, 855-400-SAVAGE, if you care to join the conversation. And I'll give you another man in the street. Another guy stops me. I know, a friend of mine, a neighbor, and he says to me, pulls over with his car, honking the horn. It was great. I'm on the bike. He's in the car. Mike, how's your house in Delray Beach? I said, I don't know. I hope it's going to be okay. It's right on the ocean. I go there once or twice a year. I don't know how it is. I hope it's fine. So he said, I said, there's a setback way off the beach. It's not sitting on the sand. People who don't have money buy lots right next to the sand. This house was built in 1998, and it's got a huge setback from the ocean with a tremendous berm between the I said, I don't know, maybe it'll survive, maybe it won't. So he said, I have a property in St. something or other. He said, St. Thomas got hit very badly. He said he has a house on one of the other saints that got smashed pretty hard, and his house has 8-foot walls. It's built on an old sugar mill, inside an old sugar mill. And he said nothing happened to it. Most of the island was really damaged, but not the old sugar mill. I said, when was your house built? He said in the 1800s. I said, gee, they did it before Al Gore was born. They knew to build 8-foot walls in St. Croix, and it didn't get blown down. He said, no. And he had a good laugh, and he drove off to continue his work. The point I'm making is real people know what reality is, more so than do others. Again, Savage Nation, 855-400-SAVAGE, be back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. Where's that story already? It's been dropped from my website. It's my website now. Where is this? MichaelSavage.com. I just had an espresso and a B100, a B complex. I'm just trying to get that brain. Something, I don't know what. After the show yesterday, I was so high on what I put out on this show, right? I was just so incredibly delighted with being able to speak the truth from the bottom of my brainstem. I felt so good. And inevitably, a few hours later, what came was, to be expected, was the crasheroo. And I haven't yet come back up from it. I'm just down. My brain is fried. I was warned, I know he's a laugh. My horoscope on Tuesday after the Labor Day weekend said, you've been really pushing it real hard. Don't take on any new projects. So, no, I didn't take on any new projects. No, 3-hour show a day, that's no new project. Make sure the book goes to the galleys with every word, 50,000 words. I have to read every word before it goes. Did that. So, I've been doing too much. I started a new website. I always do too much. I admire that fight in me, but, at a certain point, there's an article I have to direct you to because of the boycott against yours truly. You will not read this on any website except my own, but facts do not lie. Savage beats Hannity in New York City ratings war, 2 years running and no media coverage. And the ratings are there. Now, Sean is a nice guy who does a great job. And basically, we split the market, but I beat him. I want you to understand what that means. He has a TV show and a machine behind him. I have no TV show and no machine. And I have made WABC dominant in this time slot. And yet, I have never been seen on Fox News, well, not in the last 15 years. Why is that?
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE. Savage.
Where are the male crooners? Where'd they go? Anyway, we're talking about nothing today. News, views, reviews, Hollywood idiots. Let's take some calls. What the heck? Let's go for the calls. I feel a little tiny better from the exhaustion that I felt before the show, which is unusual for me. I'm the comeback kid. I can really bounce back from almost anything. So far, I'm very lucky in my life. I got hit by a car and bounced up. I got hit by a guy a foot taller than me and 20 years younger. I bounced back up. I've been lucky so far. One day you don't get up. One day you go down for the count and they take you off the canvas. But that hasn't happened yet. The point is that I'm really dragging today. The news is so horrible. We got so shafted this week, and you cannot put a garland of roses around garbage and not smell the garbage. It's that simple. And I expressed it, and a lot of you don't understand what happened to you. You're still in denial. And you think that I'm the bearer of bad tidings because I'm giving you the reality of what's going on, Anyway, I'm feeling better. I had the espresso with this little tiny bit of lemon peel. I learned that on Mulberry Street when I was 3. And that works. It's a little caffeine mixed with some potato chips and a B vitamin complex. I feel it's like up to my neck now. It's like rising. The blood sugar's moving. It's like it reached the jaw. Maybe by the next break, it'll be up to my nostrils. And by the second hour, it'll be up to my eyes. WABC Lewis, line 1, go ahead, please.
Hi, Michael. I just wanted to take an opportunity to call you and sincerely thank you for being a consistent light, a beacon of light and truth in a sea of darkness and deception that is the media. And I really just wanted to just sincerely thank you for that, Michael.
What can I do? What can I do other than do what I do? I hope you appreciate it, and I thank you for listening, that's all. Well, my friends, what should we play? All right, for those of you who don't know what's going on, let's play clip 1. This goes back to MSNBC on January 26th in the year of our Lord, 2016. Let's hear it.
I think I'd be able to get along very well with Nancy Pelosi and just about everybody. Hey, look, I think I'll be able to get along well with Schumer, Chuck Schumer. I was always very good with Schumer. I was close to Schumer in many ways. And, it's important that you get along. It's wonderful to say you're a maverick and you're going to stand up and you're going to close up the country and all of the things. But you got to get somebody to go along with you. You have a lot of people. We have a system. The founders created a system that actually is a very good system. It does work. But it can't work if you can get nobody to go along with you.
Well, I guess that's true. So if you can't beat him, you join him. And then you get rid of the debt ceiling. Even though that was a primary issue for conservatives, whatever they are. I don't think they exist anymore. Here he was on Fox News, I believe yesterday, saying get rid of the debt ceiling. Let me tell you something. If Donald Trump ran his businesses the way he's running the country by saying get rid of the debt ceiling, he couldn't survive as a businessman. Do you understand that if you take on unlimited debt and you don't pay it back, the bank calls the note and they seize your property and you go bankrupt? Do you understand that? Do you understand that nations have gone bankrupt? Yeah, I think I ought to do that. I'm a bit of a historian. Shall I name the nations that have gone bankrupt because they spent more than they had? Well, let me tell you about Napoleon. Napoleon was an egomaniac who liked war. Napoleon had to borrow money to pay for his armies and their supplies. And he borrowed, I believe, from the Bank of Rothschild. For those of you into conspiracy theories, and still goes back to the Rothschilds. And by the way, the Rothschilds just put the president of France in there. Macron was a former banker for Rothschild, if you think this is all fantasy. So nevertheless, I think Napoleon bankrupted France because he could not pay back the loans he needed to build his army. Do you understand that countries go bankrupt? Do you remember Argentina? Do you remember Argentina? You remember Venezuela? These nations are bankrupt. Well, right now it's Venezuela is bankrupt because of socialism. Argentina, in the years past, went bankrupt, and what they did was renegotiate their debt. What does that actually mean? Are we now like a third world nation, and we're going to renegotiate our debt? Is that the long-term plan here? Is that what Trump has in mind? Bust the Treasury, then go to China and say, we want to renegotiate the debt? Is that what we're doing here? Is that the country you want to live in? I thought we were going to get fiscal conservatism. It's that simple. Yeah, well, we don't know which way the wind is blowing right now, and we'll have to wait and see. And, here's a great soundbite that I really should play at this juncture. But I think I'm going to wait for Ben Sasse, a Republican in Nebraska, where he says what Trump just did is the opposite of draining the swamp. And Senator Sasse is a true conservative, by the way. He's not one of the fake variety. Let's play clip 10. Here is a U.S. senator. Is he a senator or a congressman? I think he's a senator, isn't he? I don't know what he is. I know he's a smart man. Listen to this one in 10.
What we're doing in this body today is not draining the swamp. What we're doing is running a whole bunch of hoses to the edge of the swamp, turning them on to the highest possible volume flow, and then turning our backs on the swamp and shouting, there's nothing to see here. That's what we're doing. We're doing the opposite of draining the swamp today.
All right. I don't think he's alone in his observations. But now let's go to a caller who wants to talk about the hurricane. Evan, WFNR in Virginia, line 3. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on. I wanted to ask you a question. Can you put together a top 100 of your favorite oldies? Every time you play a song, I want...
No. Come on. What's the question you were going to ask? Ask the real question.
My point is, with the hurricanes and the brush fires, earthquakes, Tornado Alley, why would people want to put themselves in that situation in the first place? And
well, right. If you own a house on a beach, you know well enough not to build on the sand. You don't build on the sand unless you don't have the money to build back from the sand. And the less valuable or less desirable homes in Florida that are on the beaches are built right on the sand. They're not desirable. No, they are not. The more desirable homes are built way back from the ocean, preferably without a highway or a road running between them and the ocean. They're the absolutely most desirable. Home, long strip of land, plantings, dunes, okay, then the beach. But if you don't have the money to buy such a valuable lot, you get a shoddy lot sold to you by a shoddy real estate agent who tells you, don't worry about it, we haven't had any flooding here and whatever, and you build right on the water, and you think that you're sitting in heaven, but you're not. Nature has a way of taking back what shouldn't be there. That's the terrible reality, Evan.
Put my family.
I don't have an answer why people live where they do. I mean, it's an old joke, A guy lives in a tornado zone, Tornado Alley. And every few years, a tornado comes through and wipes away the farm or the farmhouse. And then they go back and ask the guy what he's going to do. Is he going to move? No, my grandfather lived here. We're going to rebuild. All right, you can't change people's, views of things. They just want to believe that they're going to triumph. 855-400-7282. Here's another good caller. line number 2. KSFO. Rob, you're on the Savage Nation.
Good afternoon, Michael. I don't have Trump's war in front of me, but I believe it was on page 60 you had wrote that Obama had done such a great job at essentially purchasing the for vote and the illegal vote that no progress can be made at all. Nothing in the future is going to happen without their vote. So that maybe, just maybe, this is a move by Trump to work with Pelosi and with Schumer, who essentially own those votes. And maybe, I'm not saying it's right, but it could be a move to move forward.
I believe that's the optimistic view of things. But I, not being an optimist, living in the real world, don't accept that as what is actually going on. I believe that this is something much different than that. I don't believe it's about working with Pelosi and Schumer in order to get along. I think it's capitulating to Schumer and Pelosi because he couldn't do anything, nor could the Republicans do anything because they didn't have the guts to do anything. I want you to listen to clip 11 again of Ben Sasse of Nebraska. Listen to what he has to say and tell me if you agree with his position in number 11.
Do your constituents know that Chuck Schumer, whose title is Minority Leader, not Majority Leader, just made himself the most powerful man in America for the month of December? Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi now have most of the cards for when we get to December. This is an embarrassing moment for a Republican-controlled Congress and a Republican administration.
I think that says it all, Rob, honestly. That's exactly what just happened here. I was stunned when I saw Nancy Pelosi taking a victory lap. Here is a woman who had been consigned to the dust heap of history. She was down and out. Her own party had turned on her for being irrelevant, out of touch with the constituency. They wanted her gone. And suddenly now she has the gavel back in her hand, all because Trump reinvigorated her, along with the wonderful assassin of our time, Schumer. Schumer is a political assassin. It's that simple, and I don't agree with your position, although it's very commonly believed that that's what's going on. It's that simple. WTMA in South Carolina, line 3. Ed, what's your position?
My position is, Michael, you shouldn't be surprised that Trump will bankrupt the United States, and after all, he bankrupted, 4 or 5 companies? You've been...
Hold on. Did you vote for him or not?
No, I voted Libertarian, because I knew that Trump was a jerk who would scam us. And I'm sorry, you got scammed, man. You might as well...
Well, no, you could say I got scammed, but you're wrong. I did not get scammed because if any other candidate had been picked by me to be pushed forward, they would have lost. The only one who could have beaten her was Trump. And I think we mustn't forget that we do have some victories along the way. Some things have happened that are good. And I can start at the top of the list by saying he did appoint Mr. Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. However, I would put a caveat on that one as well, because I've long feared from the beginning that Gorsuch is not a true conservative. I fear that even if he had conservative leanings, the Supreme Court appointee, when it comes down to it, he'll become another Roberts, and he'll wind up doing to us what Roberts did to us. So I wouldn't even celebrate the Supreme Court appointment yet, incidentally, Ed. But on the economy, you got to admit the economy is doing better than it would have been doing. And let's look at the negatives if you don't want to look at the positives. Has Trump attempted to assassinate the First Amendment, as Hillary would have from the first week? Hillary has long said she wanted talk radio gone. Trump is not doing that. And what about our tremendous need to control our future by owning firearms, the Second Amendment? Do you actually think Trump would ever touch that? Absolutely not. Do you think Hillary would have touched that? Absolutely so. So there are things that we should be thankful for. Are we getting 10% of what we asked for? 20%? Maybe it's somewhere in that range right now. But that's 10 to 20% more than we would have had with Hillary, where we'd be at a minus 120%. So don't give up yet. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. Hey, look, whatever you think, which way you go, let me give you some solid career advice. You know what I'm saying? Dress for the job that you want, not the job you have. It's an old rule. And whether you're dressing for work or dressing to go out, people happen to notice the clothes you wear. It's why I recommend Charles Tyrwhitt shirts. We all love quality clothes, but until now your options were brutal. Either high-quality, ridiculously overpriced shirts or affordable, out-of-style shirts that wrinkle the minute you put them on. CT shirts are the best shirts you can ever own. They're British styled using the softest fabrics. They're the most exquisitely crafted, crease-free shirts I've ever tried. Tie or no tie, tucked in or not tucked in. You'll get compliments, believe me, in a CT shirt. Here's the deal I got for you. One CT shirt normally costs $100, but right now, you will get 3 shirts for just $99. That's pretty good. That's 60% off, by the way. And CT shirts come with free delivery, a 6-month quality guarantee, and free returns. It's simple. $99 for 3 amazing, great CT shirts. Go to ctshirts.com/savage. You got it? ctshirts.com/savage. Buy them for your husband, for your boyfriend. Why not? It's not just for men to do. Go to ctshirts.com/savage. They will thank you, or you'll thank yourself. I can't believe that we're almost through hour 1, and the espresso, the coffee, the potato chips, and the B vitamins have now approached my nostrils. They're rising near my eyes. I suspect that by the second hour, all of these magical components of thought will soon arrive at the brain. And I'm so fed up with politics. I don't want to do it anymore. My body is like an animal. My nature is very much animalistic with me. There's a constant struggle between my higher powers and my basic animal powers. And I feel myself shutting down. My body's shutting down the blood to my brain. When I think politics now, I want to go to sleep. I think the whole thing is rigged. The whole system seems rigged one way or the other. And I don't know if the whole system is in danger of total collapse or not, but I know the economy is in danger of total collapse. It has been. It hasn't changed. Obama inherited a great, great deficit that George Bush created. I called George Bush at the time a fiscal socialist. Many of you attacked me for that. Along came Obama, who I think doubled or tripled the debt that Bush had left behind. And we knew who Obama was. And we wanted to change. We wanted something different. We wanted a belt tightening. We wanted government programs closed down. We wanted the ship to be running lighter. We wanted some of the garbage thrown overboard. Instead, we have a more bloated government than ever. So I see it for what it is. Maybe intuitively, my book, God, Faith, and Reason, which was written over the last 30 years, by the way. It wasn't just written over the last 3 months. It was finished in the last 3 months, but it's been written since I started thinking and writing. And this collection, I think, is my attempt to move into another world, another plane, somewhere away from here. N'importe où dans le monde, as they said in French, anywhere out of this world.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, winner of the National Radio Hall of Fame Award, Michael Savage.
Strangely, it was the same day that the girl that he sexted with spoke out. And somehow he got his sentencing delayed. I don't know how you do that. In New York City, how do you do that? You remember the Democrat Party? Your wife worked for Hillary Clinton and you don't know how you do that? Try it if you're an inner-city kid, so you can get your sentencing delayed at the last minute. Oh, no, there's not a 2-tier system in this country. It's like a 10-tier system. You know what I'm saying? So here I am, I'm feeling better. I ate an entire fish dinner in those 4 minutes between the hours. How could a man do that? Is that bad for the body? An entire dinner of... I went to dinner last night, and I bought a dinner to go home because I wanted to have a dinner for lunch, so I then sent out for Chinese garbage. So I brought home like a sand dab dinner. There's a deboned fish. I mean, fish has bones in it in the ocean. But here in the Bay Area of San Francisco, it's a very popular dish. It was a poor man's dish because they were bottom feeders, as is flounderish kind of fish, floundering fish. And there's no political joke involved of floundering fish. Fill in the blank, whatever. We have a Petrali sole, which is our version of soul food. And this is different. This is a sand dab. I got a sand dab lunch, which I put in the microwave here in the radio studio. How could you eat that in 4 minutes with rice, with vegetables? I made my own mayonnaise, a mustard, lemon thing. But the thing that really has me feeling good right now is I ate kimchi, a whole bag, like a half a bag of kimchi. I love kimchi. And I'm not even Korean. I just love this stuff. So I eat the good kimchi out there. They're hardy people. You got to hand it to them. I don't know, everyone's starving to death, but the soldiers look pretty fat. Miami is deserted ahead of Hurricane Irma. How are they going to stop the looters? Anyway, let me go to michaelsavage.com, my new website. It's old but new. It's now just michaelsavage.com, home of the Borders Language Culture. There's something I want to point out on it, which is not about me, it's about my dog. If you click on main menu, then you go to Savage's iCamera. I'm an amateur photographer. I have been for a long time. Everyone is today. But I actually come from a camera background. Now I'm lazy. I only use the 7 Plus for my pictures. And the pictures are interesting. I mean, I take them here, I take them there. I have not captioned any of them. But they're interesting enough for me to put up there. A fountain, a medieval screen, a landscape, a meal I had, a church, a poodle, a garden, a street in North Beach, a house, just stuff like that. And I have many more pictures to come. And then there's a whole thing called Teddy's Corner. And I've not put up any new pictures of old Ted. There's a new one on the left and a new one on the right. He's almost all white now. When I got that dog, I was on stage at the Concord Pavilion. I remember to this day he was all black. Would you believe it? A little 10-pound poodle. And he was all black. Then he turned silver, like a gray poodle. They're very rare, the gray. And this guy, this little lion, this guy is I don't know how he gets it. What courage they have, these little dogs. Now he's turned all white. He's 13. And he was near death about 3 months ago. We had already the grave, the coffin, the sadness. The whole thing was already. I had it all in my head, like the whole dog funeral. I was thinking who to invite. I'm very morbid sometimes. What are you going to do, not face it? I had other dogs. I did the thing. They take him away. They turn him into an ash, and they give you a box. Do you think it's actually a dog's ashes? You're telling me the Gonoffs in the cremation business give you the dog's ashes? Or your mother's ashes? Are you joking? They probably get them out of a garbage can somewhere. So, okay, I have the ashes from Snowy from years ago in one house sitting there, and then another ash box for another one. But so the doctor puts him on because he was every time he jumped, and then a sonogram, heart thing. His valves leaking. He's got fluid in the lungs. I said, oh, God, the way of all flesh, like I don't know her. All right, he's 13. He led a good life, you figure. She puts him on his diuretic, and he starts to get worse. Losing weight, won't eat, listless. So I go to my friend Dr. Cunyon, who's a genius, the nutrition genius. He's a real medical doctor, but he was the most advanced guy in the history of nutrition when I started in the field in 1978. And he said to me very quietly, he's a quiet man, he said, the drug will weaken the dog's kidneys. He said, put the dog on coenzyme Q. You should think about it. So we got dog CoQ and took him off the drug, threw the drug in the toilet. And I swear to God, like his appetite's back. I know I should be selling it now. And now get Dr. Savage's Dog CoQ special for you. Call 1-800-TEDDY. No, it's not an ad. It should be, though. I should put out my own products, but I don't. And he's doing great. I mean, he's eating again, jumping, he plays. He sleeps with his little elephant. He's so cute when he sleeps on that elephant toy. What do you call it? Like a doll, an elephant doll. Like a teddy bear the size of a little thing. So he has an elephant thing, he puts his head on it. I don't know, we love our dogs. What's wrong with us? Should I see a psychiatrist that I love a dog so much? Is there something wrong with me that I have such love for an animal? I was watching an animal show last night. I almost could stop. My heart almost stopped. It was about an elephant herd caught in the desert. A desert storm's coming somewhere in Africa. I've always loved elephants. Who doesn't? Except the poachers who should be hunted down by helicopters. So I watched the elephant herd, and you see the little one of them dies, and they have a funeral for a baby elephant. I swear to God, the entire herd gets around the baby that died, and then they go back to it, where it died, where they put it, and they have a ritual. Elephants have more humanity than most humans today. Each of the elephants, with the tip of their little trunk, their big trunk, they touch the bones of the dead baby elephant, and they pass it around to each other. You're telling me they don't have feelings? And after they have finished this mourning period for the deceased baby elephant, they go on, and they're racing against this storm, this coming dust storm that's going to envelop the entire desert that they're in. They're dying. They have no water, no food, but they have to keep trucking on. And the elephant, the mother elephant, they say the female elephant, the cow they call her, knows over the hills, way over the mountains. She senses a storm is going to be there. She knows the direction to go in to beat the storm, to get to the water, or they're all going to die. So it shows them hoofing it over to that area. And here's the most astonishing part. They show the African tribesmen, the herdsmen, who have their goats, who follow the elephant pack through the dust storm because they know that the elephant has a better sense of weather than do the human, our animal friends. And this is why I've told you before, we are the eagle. We are all the eagle. All of us are the eagle. We are the spotted owl. This is something that is lost on the dummies in the conservative movement. They make me sick. The blowhards in the conservative media who come on, I eat animals, just kill them. I hate that. They get me crazy. I despise them. Morons, dopes. We who call ourselves conservatives are the true shepherds of the earth. We are the ones who are supposed to protect the animals and the plants and the airs and the waters of our earth. How can you mock those who do? How can you mock those who do? So anyway, this long odyssey of the elephant herd, and then eventually all the herds come together, and there's like thunderous hoofs of like hundreds of these guys and girls and babies, and they make it to the water, and I swear to God, I was drained at the end of it. Maybe that got me depressed. How perilous the nature of the animals are on this planet, and how man is such a rapacious beast that will devour everything in his sight to keep it going one more day. It reminds me of the economic model we're using here in the United States of America. It's very much like the rapaciousness of man towards the earth. Eat everything, devour everything, mine everything, grab everything, convert everything, consume everything. Consume the earth. Print money, and never pay the piper. And this is all how the world is seen by me through the eyes of this 12-pound poodle. I think that animals, and I mean because one animal, one domestic animal, one little poodle, but what about the people who are on farms who live with horses and cows and goats and pigs and stuff? I don't even want to go there. I mean, I don't want to get a horse. I'm a city guy to begin with. But if I have this much of an attachment to a poodle, could you imagine a horse? Now, don't call me if you love your horse. I mean, I know people get into their horses, and I hear that a horse is even worse as it gets older. It gets old and it dies. Horrible. What are they, 35 years old? It's like having a brother who's like dying or something like that. So, it's like my mind is really there. I'm not interested in Donald Trump, and I'm not interested in the societies. I can't take it anymore. The whole political structure is so awfully deceitful. Let's put it to you that way. The entire thing is built on a house of deceit. And here we are. What happened to nuclear war with him, with Kim Jong-un? What happened to Big? I thought we were about to go to nuclear war with Big one. Pyongyang. Who knows? And whatever happened to Mueller's investigation about the Russia probe? Whatever happened to that one? Nothing. Nothing. Zero. The whole thing is one tribe of gangsters attacking another tribe of gangsters. One band of criminals fighting with the other band of criminals. That's all. It always has been. That's all. That's it. I'll be back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. Today, even the big cars that you would drag. I remember I had I'm just rambling on today. I don't want to do politics. I'm not doing it. I did elephants. I did food. I did depression. I did hyperglycemia. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm on strike. I'm not doing Trump. I'm not doing it anymore. You know, remember when Obama was getting to me? I said to you, he's not the sun, the moon, and the stars. How have we devolved in this nation to think that the only thing on earth worth talking about is a politician, even if he's president? Have we devolved to that point that's the only thing on the planet is who the president is and what he's doing? I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't have all these years of learning and of my interests and the places I've been to talk about a man in the White House. Because one day he won't be in the White House. He'll be gone. There'll be another someone in the White House, a woman, a man. I don't know who. I want to talk about anything else. Anything else but politics. I won't do it. I'm on strike. I don't want to hear any more about it. I don't want to hear about Ivanka. I don't want to hear about Jared. I don't want to hear about Trump. I don't want to hear about Ryan. I don't want to hear, no, none of them. I don't want to hear any more politics. No more. That's the end of it. The only thing I will not discuss, I'll talk about anything except sports. You may not discuss sports on this show. The only time I'll ever discuss sports is if it's a boxing match. Otherwise, I'm not interested today. And today in particular. Irma's about to hit, right? What can I say about it on the radio that you can't see in 2 seconds on the Weather Channel? KSFO, Eric, line 8. Go ahead, please. Welcome to the show.
Yes, hi, Dr. Savage. Thank you so much. I am a psychologist actually listening to you online from Little Mogadishu here, where it is next to impossible to find a job. So in my field, like yourself, I made it through all those years of school based on your story. I truly appreciate it. And I switched to animal husbandry, and having lived in Africa and been all around, there is a collective consciousness that's amazing to those animals. They follow bizarre trails and continuously move on. But the way in which we relate with our dogs, with our cats, it truly shows that empathy and availability that is lacking in so many people that are truly not animal lovers, and it comes through in everything that you do.
But the worst people in this whole situation are not, well, let me put it another way. The people who disgust me the most are the fake conservatives who make a mockery of those who protect animals. I hate that more than anything. They are the most obnoxious of all people on the planet. I'm a big conservative. I have my own jet, and I eat them animals. Don't you hate those kind of people? Don't they get you nauseous?
I couldn't agree anymore. And you know,
how are they conservative? Where is the conservatism in being an oafish bore?
There's none. There's none whatsoever. And owning a ranch, I learned far more about animals than I ever would have thought. And being a compassionate conservative, your term, is truly one of the most important things that people will never understand because they want to brand something as something else.
They always want to brand me as something that I'm not because they don't listen to the show and they say, oh, him? No, we don't advertise on his show. No, we don't listen to him. And the people love me in Bay Area and say, wait a minute, have you heard him? No, I haven't heard him, but I know he's no good. This is what passes for liberalism. This is what passes for advanced thinking in the San Francisco area. You hear? By the way, I want to send you a copy of Teddy and Me. Even if you have one, give it to a friend. That's very interesting. So you studied psychology, but because you're a white male, you were pushed out of your field. You weren't even allowed in it, so you went into a better field. You're probably a happier man, right?
Much so. Very much so.
Oh, you are? Thank God.
With the human condition.
Well, the human condition. Get me started on that one. I think we have to go to some philosophy to discuss that topic, and I think one of the best books
I'd love to. I've got all the time in the world.
I don't have the time right now. It's Friday afternoon, but hold on the line. We're sending you a copy of Teddy and Me. We should put that up on the website. Everyone loves that book. I think I'll start giving it away, too. on a teddy one day. Yeah. Who did I want to talk about? Who wrote the book about his views of hell with great, great drawings? Does anyone know? Is there anyone in the audience who read, went to school, any knowledge about anything other than Democrat and Republican? And how bad them libs are? I got to tell you, them liberals are no darn good. It's we real conservatives. We're the ones who are going to save the world as we slaughter the earth, slaughter the animals, and poison the air. Follow us.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE. Savage.
It says, after Trump deal, Pelosi predicts greater leverage for Dems. Isn't that nice? That's what we got out of the whole election? This creature from the lagoon, Nancy Pelosi, who her own party wanted to get rid of, now she's back with a vengeance. Something's wrong with this whole picture. But if you want to live in a dreamland and you want to tell yourself he's smart, he's playing chess, and you don't know what he's doing, go ahead. Whatever. Whatever. What a weekend it's going to be. Everyone's going to sit home, like, instead of watching sports, you're going to watch hurricane damage. That's what people stay home now, like popcorn, beer, instead of watching baseball, football, basketball, bowling, girls volleyball in Santa Monica. You're going to watch hurricane footage all weekend long. I don't understand what's human. It's like a crash on the side of the road. Everyone looks at it. It's like you're driving, like rubberneckers, like a nation of rubberneckers. Can sit and watch the storm hit. Glad I'm not in Florida. I almost went, but thank God it's after Labor Day now. I don't go on vacation till after Labor Day. I'm delaying. I don't travel before Labor Day. It's impossible. Normally I would take a vacation like next week when the kids are back in school. I don't want to be in a restaurant with children. I raised them. It was enough. I can't eat. There's certain things I cannot do. I cannot eat dinner if the sun is out. That's number one. I can't. If the sun is out, somehow I can't eat dinner. A lunch, maybe. But the sun is out, like I'm blinded. I don't want to eat dinner in a restaurant. 2, children, forget about it. I can't eat. God bless them. Can't they have like a child's dining room in every restaurant? Like a children's corner? With like a soundproof glass where you can look at them? Why do I have to listen to them when I don't want to? What am I going out for? To listen to someone raise their child with a coloring book? There is nothing less appetizing than a couple next to you with a coloring book and a child. They're usually a guy, 55, second or first marriage, first child for sure, or maybe the second time around. He's trying to do it right this time. And spoiling that child beyond belief. And she's on the iPhone, the wife, and he's talking to the child about the capitals of every state. Have you had one of those next to you in a restaurant? You cannot eat. He is saying, Johnny, what is the capital of Alabama? What is the capital of Kentucky? And it goes down the list. This is before the main course has arrived. I'm out of there. I get it to go. I say, wait, we're canceling. But I can't understand this. Why do people even take their children to restaurants? I remember once someone told me that they did this in a restaurant in the San Francisco area. They went up to a couple that was so obnoxious with their children, and they put $10 down on the table. They said, here, this is for your babysitter fund. The next time you want to go out, get one. Someone did that because people they don't care. And the worst people are the older guys with ponytails, the worst. I just cut mine off so I can say that again. It was very funny. I got to tell you the truth. I hated guys with ponytails for my whole... I still like, what are you kidding me? Old guy with ponytail. Who's he think he is? Blah, blah, blah. Then I grew one, and it was like a foot long. In fact, when I saw Trump, I was like contemplating, I'm going to see the prayer. I might run into him that time in February. I said, I have a ponytail. This guy's not going to like this. They might have me arrested before I got to his table. I said, I'm not cutting my hair even for him. Anyway, so I come next to him, at the table on time. The ponytail's like down half my back. And I say, he looks at it. He's the president of the United States, and he's a straight guy. I mean, what's this, the ponytail guy? But he knew who I was from the radio from all the years. So I immediately defused the situation as I learned to do as a kid. And I said, President Trump, let me tell you what the ponytail's all about. I said, it's camouflage so I could go into enemy territory in the San Francisco area and see what they're really thinking. He got a kick out of that. But now that I've cut it off, I'm just an ordinary guy in the street, which is even better. You want real camouflage? I didn't want, you know what it is? I didn't want the identity of hair. I don't want hair to be my identity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, even a mustache is identity. Beard, identity. Since I have such a strong identity as a broadcaster and as a writer, I don't need the identity of a ponytail, so I cut it off. The one thing is I don't know what to do with it. I didn't throw it out yet. I know it's pretty creepy. Like, I kept it in, like, it's in a plastic bag. I don't know. I was going to ask a religious person, do I bury it? I don't know, burn it? I don't know what to do with it. It's like facing, do I get the hair a coffin? Do I cremate the hair and put it in a box? I don't know what to do with it. So someone said sell it on eBay. I said, not a good idea because they can use my DNA and, like, use it in a crime and, like, put my hair on the crime scene. I can't do that. I went to art class Wednesday, second lesson. I'm just rapping. It's just Friday. Just rapping. So I went to art. It was like the first class. I had not been in school in a long time. Was like a week ago for Wednesday. I was very nervous to go because I don't like school to begin with. I never liked it despite higher degrees, 3 of them. I know that's a weird one to begin with because I like learning. I didn't like school. Nevertheless, I go back for this baby watercolor class. And I had trepidation. I bought all of the new paints. I learned a lot. I got to tell you something. You got to put down your ego and your fears to go to school again. And even a simple class can teach you a lot if you actually are open to it. And so this last week I went back and I learned wet on wet, a technique I never knew. I never knew what it was, wet on wet. Teacher taught us how to make the paper wet with a brush dipped in water, and then to paint over the wet with a wet brush and paint. And then, you know, I figured I learned that. It was great. So that technique, I learned how to fill in the perimeters of my paintings, which were always left white because I didn't know what to do with them. So I learned that, but I'm not going back. I left early, went right to a bar, and drank too much from the anxiety of sitting in the classroom again. Because I'll tell you why. Don't get mad at me. It's like 16 people. It's you know, you just go to like a community college thing. It's all older women. I'm nothing against older women. Some of them are quiet and did their work, just sat and painted on the other side of the room. I made the mistake of sitting on the side. These women didn't shut up the whole time you got there. They didn't stop. And the one who knew the least about painting was instructing everyone around her. You use this and that brush and this, and I couldn't focus. So I went over to the other side of the room and I said, it was like being back in school again. I said to this quiet woman, I said, there's anyone sitting down the end? I like to sit on the end, in the perimeter of a classroom. I always like been a perimeter guy. Even in synagogue or church, I was always the guy in the back, in the last pew, in the last seat, ready to leave at any second. I couldn't, you know, like you didn't want to get trapped. You never take a front seat in school, never take a front seat in church, because if you want to leave, you're stuck. Everyone has to look at you. I always sat in the back. So I sit in the back right there. They weren't. So I can't. So she said, yeah, you can come. And I left early anyway. Went right to the bar. Had a pizza, beer. Put on some weight. I don't think I'm going to go back anymore, though. You should see the clown I painted. I'm going to put this on Facebook and Twitter over the weekend. I will show you my first clown from like a couple of years ago with baby watercolors, like round discs of baby, you know, to buy your child, to the new clown that I did, made with like watercolors that come in a tube, like the professional variety. It liberated me in using paints now. And I think I'll do that. Look at the great calls I have. Now it's about horses, pets, dogs. I can't believe it's Friday already. I don't know whether I'm looking forward to the weekend or I can't stand the thought of it. The only thing I look forward to is I don't want to watch hurricane footage, but I have to. Of course, I'm obsessed like everyone. Ray Donovan's back Sunday night. The worst show, the worst new series is Andrew Dice Clay's Dice. A bomb like I couldn't believe. This guy was funny in the 1980s. Then he went into obscurity. No one heard of him. All of a sudden, he gets parts in movies. He was great in Woody Allen's movie, Blue Jasmine. He played like the big, lumbering ex-husband. He did a great job. He's a talented guy. All right, so the HBO people give him a series. The first season was marginal. Some were good, some were... This season, my jaw dropped. The second one was the worst show I've ever seen in my life, called Dice. Worst. So I asked my assistant, Ryan, who's 28, who likes the guy. I said, what do you think? He said, I never saw anything as bad in my life. Because it was all about this guy. He's no director, no writer. It's all about him. I mean, he writes and directs. You can't do that. You can't write and direct your own thing and expect it to be any good. Someone's got to say, you look like a schmuck, and throw that script out. We're going to do it again. Awful, the worst. I'm not watching him, so that's over. There's a new series about Times Square in New York in the 70s that I'm going to watch, that my friend told me about. You know, the seedy part of Times Square, 70s New York. I want to see that. I can remember it very well. I know, did I like New York more when it was like Freak Show? Did I like Hubert's Flea Circus? Did I like dirty Times Square better than clean Times Square? It's an interesting question because, you know, we as a being are not one thing. We're many things. We have all sides, many different parts of us. I wouldn't say parts because we have many different components that make up the whole. And when a city becomes too sanitized, homogenized, pasteurized, it loses its flavor for me. I don't like Disneyland. I don't go there. 855-407-2822 is the phone number. Go to michaelsavage.com. Help build the traffic. Help build up the website. Buy my book. Buy my shoes. Buy my, I got this for you. I don't know anymore. This politics is driving me crazy. It's not just what Trump did. It was over before that. It is perhaps the most boring topic on the planet. I've never seen anything more boring. It's just business deals. That's all it is. It's horse trading. Eric Bolling out at Fox. Mueller to interview Spicer. Lois Lerner won't be charged. Ugh. Big Sis sues for Dreamers. Oh, get me my Sominex. Well, this is like Sominex. ISIS celebrates, may Allah drown enemies of Islam. What a compassionate religion. That's a real loving religion right there, isn't it? We played already the Hollywood Idiot. Chris Christie seeking cable news job. Yeah, he'll be a real hit. It was a big hit on radio. He should be an even bigger hit on cable television. They can't get a job. Everybody wants to get in on the act. I'll tell you who would be good on television or radio, now that I think about it. Maxine Waters could be good on television. She is such a whack job. She has such crazy eyes. She's such a clear liar. She's perfect for MSNBC. Perfect. Perfect. Attention, Pill Griffin. If you're looking for new talent to boost your ratings, you could do no better than crazy Maxine. Talking politics. Gunmakers battle Trump slump as sales fall. Look at that. An unexpected consequence of Trump winning. In other words, Obama was such a threat to our survival, we ran out and bought 5 guns each and 5,000 bullets, waiting for the government to take over. But now that we're not afraid of Trump, what, people are not buying guns? No, that's crazy. That's a great story. What else is in there? I know, and some of it's dirty. I can't read it. 48 hours away. I hope it blows off. I hope it comes and goes, you know. In the past, they've come in, veered out. They've veered out to sea. What about all those people, on the move in Florida? The migratory herds, like the migratory elephants trying to get away from the storm. But where they're going? I don't know where they're going to go, like Louisiana? Are you telling me women from Queens and Brooklyn who lived in Boca Raton are going to dare go into the Deep South? They're afraid of those people. They're not going to even migrate there. I don't know where we're going to put them. They're afraid of, the actual American. They don't want to know them. See, South Florida is not like the South at all. South Florida is not like the South. It's like Queens or Brooklyn. The real South is like northern Florida. That's the real Florida. The real Florida is like the Panhandle, up near the military, Pensacola. That's Florida. But you get past, the Mason-Dixon line of Florida. You're in Queens. You're in Brooklyn. You're in the Bronx of the 1940s, knitting, sitting on the stoop. But where are they going to go? I don't know where they migrate. The women from South Florida. They're not going into the bayou. They'll be afraid of it. Did I run out of time already? Yeah, I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. Is the Savage Nation. Hey, what about if it's the middle of the night and you're not sleeping and you're tossing and you're turning and you're covered in sweat? And yeah, you can run the AC right all night to keep cool, but do you really want to do that? I'm going to tell you something. Get rid of your heat-trapping mattress. Sleep as cool as the other side of the pillow like I do on my Casper mattress. You see, Casper's 2 high-tech foams guarantee you have a great night's sleep. Sleeping cool and comfortable and fully supported every night. It ships for free in a box that is so small you won't believe it holds a mattress. That way you can get it from your front door to your bedroom without help. Casper does that so you can try it risk-free for 100 nights in your own home. If you don't love your Casper, they will come pick it up and refund you everything, no questions asked. Sleeping on a mattress is the best way to try it, better than lying on one in a crowded store with everyone looking at you, right? From its breakthrough design and superior quality to its packaging and 100-night in-home trial, it is no wonder that Casper was named one of Fast Company's 50 most innovative brands of 2017. So sleep cool and comfortable every night like I do. Get a Casper. Try yours for 100 nights with free shipping and returns. Go to Casper.com. Use code SAVAGE for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. You got it? Casper.com, code SAVAGE, and get $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Casper.com, terms and conditions apply. Lisa on WABC, you'll have the final word. Make it quick, please, my friend.
Yes, hello, Dr. Savage. Great to talk to you. I just wanted to say that you're totally normal in that loving your animals more than people is. I lost my father, and it took me longer to mourn my dog than my father.
Oh, that's a loaded statement.
Yeah. And you always want to get animals that will live the longest. So I got a small dog thinking, oh, well, maybe he'll live to be 20. Never.
Yeah, why do small dogs live longer than the big guys? I had a friend who owned an Irish wolfhound that lived to 5.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Well, because they have less issues with their hips and stuff. Older dog, like I had a shepherd, their hips give out at like 11, and then when they can't walk, you got to put them down. So, they're spry. But the other thing is that, there is a funeral. I don't know if you must have funeral parlors for dogs and animals.
Oh, come on. They don't. They don't have a funeral parlor.
Oh, they don't? Okay, well, I'm in New York.
I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe that's a whole business for you right there.
Yeah, I know it is. So I'm telling you.
Pet funeral parlors.
One of my pets, I went.
You see girls walking around in the cities today with a baby carriage with a dog or a cat in it. Something's wrong. Something is wrong in a society when there's more pets and more love for pets than there is for children. And I'm an animal lover. I've told you that. But I have children, for God's sakes. But, we can't lose our balance. You never hear the statement, it's going to the dogs? There's something very sad about seeing a young person with a pet and not a child. I'm not saying, okay, there's anything wrong with it. I just said there's something missing there. If I were a woman and I wasn't married, would I have a child out of wedlock? I'm wondering. Just have a child. I never thought about it. Something a man never thinks about that. It's a weird question.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning, the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, winner of the National Radio Hall of Fame Award, Michael Savage.
I relied on several tools, one of which was prayer, and I was lifted up and blessed by a lot of people who sent me prayers, sent me spiritual readings. I also had the support of my family. I got to see
Bill
the
was around.
world
He was there for you.
anew from the eyes of my grandchildren. My friends rallied around.
What's with the upper
and were
voice?
so supportive. I did some yoga. Try alternate nostril breathing. I highly recommend it. And yes, I had my fair share.
Just think about that. Could you imagine 4 years of this nausea? This liar up there telling us about yoga? You actually believe she got prayer and spiritual readings, her? About the most cynical person on the planet. Now, back in 2014, now she's all for DACA right now. She's all for washing the feet of immigrant children. But years ago, she wanted to send them back back in 2014, yes, here's Hillary Clinton in 2014 on CNN with a woman named Christina Amanpour, remember her, Mata Hari, saying that immigrant children should be sent back. This is Hillary in 2014 before she saw the way. It's clip 16 from the year 2014. Let's hear it.
First of all, we have to provide the best emergency care we can provide. We have children 5 and 6 years old who have come up from Central America. We need to do more to provide border security in southern Mexico.
They should be sent back now.
Well, they should be sent back as soon as it can be determined who responsible adults and their families are, because there are concerns about whether all of them can be sent back, but I think all of them who can be should be reunited with their families. And just as Vice President Biden is arguing today in Central America, we've got to do...
If she only ran on that platform, she would have won the election. But she didn't. She was hoodwinked by the Nancy Pelosi wing of left-wing maniacs who want more and more of them, and we can't afford them. So that was her in 2014. Not to be missed, by the way, before the day is out this Friday, I know you all want the storm and this and that, was Bernie Sanders, was being ridiculed by Hillary for having lost the election. She's now blaming him. He's the what do you call it, whipping boy. So Sanders goes on to, of all places, a television show, and he says this in clip 12. Let's hear it.
Bernie Sanders just stole all of Hillary Clinton's ideas. Does anybody really believe that? The truth is, and the real story is, that the ideas that we brought forth during that campaign, which was so crazy and so radical, have increasingly become mainstream.
Well, Bernie, they were very popular in Russia in 1915 to 1917. How'd that work out for Russia, Bernie? You know history, Bernie. You're such a con man. You know how it works out. Bernie, you know how it works out. You should know better, Bernie. You're a very smart boy chick. You know your history. You said you were an atheist, then you became religious, then you weren't religious, then you were an atheist. But you knew people who weren't atheists, and you respected them even though they weren't atheists, and though they were religion, you respected their religion even though you don't have any. You respected the fact that they did. You remember, Bernie? So, yeah, we know how that worked out. And, okay, thank God he didn't win. Thank God she didn't win. Let's see what else we have for you in the sound area here on the Savage Nation. She relied on prayer, yoga, and Chardonnay. Okay, very funny. Immigrant children should be sent back. And here's Sanders now, who wants as many illegal alien children in America as he can get. And I guess he has that much compassion for immigrant children because his wife and her scandal with the college up there in Vermont, I mean, they needed more bodies to fill that college, and I guess they didn't get enough, so they went bankrupt, just like the Catholic Church wants more in the pews, because it's an old story. I mean, I know Bannon said it. I said it 5 years ago. It doesn't mean that he's copied me. It was common sense. We know why the church is in favor of illegal aliens. We know why the Pope keeps pushing open borders. We know it's a secret. It's as much a business as it is anything else. It always has been. And even churches can go bankrupt. There are many empty churches around the planet, by the way. And if you don't run them right, they empty out. So you got to fill them up. So who are you going to fill them up with? Mumbo jumbo, that's all. You wave the incense around and you bring them in. And you get some government billions there to throw around, you get even more. In the old days in Chicago, they used to give out $3 bottles of cherry brandy to get people to vote. I guess it's a lot more than $3 a vote now. So here is again Sanders on a television show saying that we need to get 800,000 more. They're all great people, by the way. Every child in deferred action, whatever program, every one of them is a potential Einstein to the liberal. Every last one of them. But if they're a Caucasian American and they're poor, they don't exist. They're not only deplorable, they should be thrown out of college. Listen to clip 17.
What Trump did in removing 800,000 great young people from DACA protection is one of the ugliest things that any president in the modern history of this country has ever done. You know what ugly would be, I think we've got to be smart, and we've got to win that fight. And the key here is being smart. And that means attaching DACA legislation to reverse what Trump did to legislation that the Republicans need to have passed.
So there are 800,000 great young people. Every one of them is a great young person. And I said to you the other day on the show, DACA, everyone is a young person. Suddenly they're young. But if they're a young Southern white boy and they object to the removal of Civil War statues, they're no longer young. They're Nazis or Ku Klux Klan members. But if they're DACA members who are members of La Raza and they believe in the supremacy of their own people and the supremacy of the nation they came from, then they're young people, and they're great young people to their so-called progressives. You see how that works? Okay, going over very well here. No one's listening. They already got the TVs on. Jared Kushner helped top Democratic senator lobby White House for DACA amnesty, says Neil Munro of Breitbart. And the proof for that is Reuters. According to Reuters' account, which describes the illegals as dreamers, we initially had a conversation with Kushner at Senator Chuck Grassley's invitation on criminal justice. And I asked Mr. Kushner afterwards if we could talk about immigration separate and apart from Senator Grassley, which we did. Said Senator Turban Durbin. Now, Senator Durbin is one of the worst senators in the history of America, in my estimation. He attacked the military. He attacked police. He's opened his arms to the invasion of his own state to Middle Easterners simply because they stock the rolls of voters. So now Kushner goes to him, and he also arranges phone calls between Durbin and then Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly, according to the Reuters account. Kushner and Durbin. So now Kushner is doing this. Fabulous. Unbelievable. I ask myself, but again, okay, we heard Hillary. Thank God Trump won. Okay, whatever. It's a long time to go. Maybe we'll get more out of the deal. I'm sure we will. And the negatives, positives add up. Okay, here we are. But not to have to hear her with her fables about her prayers and her this and her that. I have a little post-it here. Let me read it to you. I keep post-its on my broadcast desk. So here's a couple of them. Even if Trump gives us only 10% of what he promised, that's 1,000% better than what Clinton would have done. That was written in 3 months ago. Hello, infidels, give me 15 minutes and I'll give you America. That's 3 years ago. Obama's moderate terrorist. That was 2 years ago. Be practical. No rage, intelligence, humor. That's every day. The Thieving Magpie by Rossini. No one even knows when I played it or why. Is anyone out there? Is everyone watching the Weather Channel? You're eating popcorn. You're drinking Chardonnay at home now, watching the weather. That's all you're doing. The storm's almost there, right? 5:15. Should I turn on the weather and talk about? But why don't I just turn on the Weather Channel and tell you what I see? For those of you who don't have color televisions yet, all right? Are there people still look at black and whites? You got to get a new color TV to watch the storm coverage. I hope it blows off. I do. I hope it blows away. Would you rather me talk about pet cemeteries? A friend of mine just sent, yes, there's a pet cemetery in Napa where she buried a dog. I don't want to read that about pet cemeteries. Let me go to my website. Is anyone alive out there and well? Let's see what's on my website. I'm going to start from the top right. Sun firing powerful solar flares at Earth. Expect auroral delights. That sounds almost a little marginal there. Auroral delights? Sorry, auroral delights? There's something weird with that statement. My audio, you just got shafted. Savage beats Hannity in New York City ratings war, 2 years running, no media coverage. School apologizes for suggesting students masturbate to avoid sex assault. I'm just reading them cold. Some of them are not even my headlines. This is what's going on in the world that you live in. Teens charged with murdering MMA fighter, allegedly stole swords and narcotics from his home. Nice-looking folks. Hollywood idiot of the day, Jennifer Lawrence, a genius. Students defy high school mandate prohibiting display of American flag. Good for them. What a great picture this is. The dimwits who run the school said, no flags, no flags. So the students pulled up their pickup trucks and put their American flags on the back of the tailgate, and there's like dozens of trucks with the American flag, and they couldn't stop them. Models mourn Hurricane Irma's devastation by showing themselves half naked with bikinis. Wonderful, wonderful. Here's one on michaelsavage.com. She's back. Pelosi flexes as Trump's attention brings her out of the wilderness. Perfect. What an unintended consequence that was. Extremist left-wing hate group, SPLC, lumps any and all family values groups in with Nazis and Ku Klux Klan. Here's a good story, positive, on my website. In major Supreme Court case, Justice Department sides with Baker, who refused to make wedding cake for gay couple. Now, you know if Hillary won, her Justice Department would not side with the baker, okay? So you got to look at some things that are in our court. They didn't win yet, but the Justice Department is going to argue the case for the baker, okay? Feds spend $138,000 asking 4-year-olds about their internal sense of gender identity. Anyone did that to my 4-year-old? I'd sue them to make sure they go to prison. Hurricane Irma batters the Caribbean in pictures. It swept through there like Grant took Richmond. Horrible. Feinstein attacks federal judge's nominee's faith, saying the dogma of Catholicism lives loudly within you. This is a sitting senator. Senator Feinstein says to a nominee to be a federal judge about his Catholic faith, the dogma lives loudly within you. Feinstein, you know what dogma lives loudly within you? Greed and corruption. Those are very dogmatic truths that live within you. It's a shame you don't have any Catholicism like that of the judge. You might be a better person and a better senator. Let's see what else. Under fire, Berlin mayor equates BDS with Nazis and rejects Israel boycott. Good for him. Someone in Germany hasn't lost their mind. Here's a mayor in Berlin who equates the boycott of Israel movement with Nazism and rejects a boycott of Israel. Here's another one that you won't read in the San Francisco Chronicle. Veiled woman assaults shopkeeper for selling lingerie near headscarves. Very tolerant people. Those women with the slits, very tolerant. They're really going to treat your children very well. Oh, yeah. Assaults me some lingerie. Tijuana shoplifting ring hit U.S. malls for $20 million in luxury goods, authorities say. See the nice girls from south of the border with the gang hands? You know, they're all wonderful people. They're all wonderful young people, according to Bernie. Even probably the shoplifting ring are all wonderful people. All of them. Maybe they're part of DACA. That's all. Daddy, can I go with you? Trump touts Ivanka on stage in North Dakota. Okay, we'll move past that one. This is the one and only Savage Nation. The phone number is 855-407-282. The website's michaelsavage.com. The Twitter feed is @ASavageNation, if you care to Twitter. I don't know, tweet, Twitter, whatever it's called, etc. These are great stories on the website, and I'm very happy that you're... you know that my traffic doubled in only 4 days on michaelsavage.com? Since I took it over and we created a new website, Karen did. I didn't think it could be done. She has doubled. Why is it doubling? Why is the traffic on michaelsavage.com doubling? It's not like I'm getting rich from it. It's not like we're flooded with money, but the people seem to love it. All right, that's it. I'll be back. Be here or be nowhere.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. After the show yesterday, I was so high on what I put out on this show, right? I was just so incredibly delighted with being able to speak the truth from the bottom of my brainstem. I felt so good. And inevitably, a few hours later, what came was, to be expected. See, I'm not going to crumble because the world that I believe in is coming to an end. Many worlds come to an end and new ones emerge. At the end of the day, you have to go back to yourself. You have to go back to your own family. You have to go back to the eternal, which is God, faith, and reason. To me, reason is a faith unto itself, incidentally. Using logic, when it works, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. When you have been trained in scientific knowledge and reason, if you've been trained with Aristotelian logic, and when your mind functions perfectly, it's one of the greatest experiences on the planet. And I must tell you, there are days that it doesn't. There are days that I am so rattled by what is going on that I find even my reason is going. I'm telling you the truth. Today happens to be not one of those days. I feel it like a storm passed me by the other day. I don't know what was going on for a few weeks. I couldn't think clearly. I saw this whole thing coming apart. And on Monday morning, I don't know when it was, Monday morning, I sent God, Faith, and Reason in its final form off to the printer. I had worked on it all weekend, reading 50,000 words over again, over and over again. I wrote every last one of those words over the last 20 years, and I put them together in this one book. but I had to send it off, and I had no idea how much this book was weighing on me until it was gone. And I took out stuff that I didn't like. And like a big weight was lifted from me because I feel that that's my legacy. All I thought was this book has to last 20, 30 years or more. And I don't want one word in that book to throw people off 30 years from now when they say, who was this guy, Michael Savage, who wrote this book, God, Faith, and Reason? This is truly my legacy book. It's not even out yet, but it's so important to me to tell you why that book is more important now than it was when I conceived it. But I got to move along. We're 9 months into the Trump presidency, which is symbolically so important. That's the gestation period of a human baby. Did you know that? 9 months. And we're 9 months into this administration. And boy, can I make a statement now about what this baby seems to look like. I just saw the sonograms, and they're not good. For those of you who don't know what's going on, let's play clip one. This goes back to MSNBC on January 26th in the year of our Lord 2016. Let's hear it.
I think I'd be able to get along very well with Nancy Pelosi and just about everybody. Hey, look, I think I'll be able to get along well with Schumer, Chuck Schumer. I was always very good with Schumer. I was close to Schumer in many ways. And, you know, it's important that you get along. It's wonderful to say you're a maverick and you're going to stand up and you're going to close up the country and all of the things. But you got to get somebody to go along with you. You know, you have a lot of people. We have a system. The founders created a system that actually is a very good system. It does work. But it can't work if you can get nobody to go along with you.
No, I guess that's true. So if you can't beat him, you join him. And then you get rid of the debt ceiling. Even though that was a primary issue for conservatives, whatever they are. I don't think they exist anymore. Here he was on Fox News, I believe yesterday, saying get rid of the debt ceiling. Let me tell you something. If Donald Trump ran his businesses the way he's running the country by saying get rid of the debt ceiling, he couldn't survive as a businessman. Do you understand that if you take on unlimited debt and you don't pay it back, the bank calls the note and they seize your property and you go bankrupt? Do you understand that? Do you understand that nations have gone bankrupt? Yeah, I think I ought to do that. I'm a bit of a historian. Shall I name the nations that have gone bankrupt because they spent more than they had? Well, let me tell you about Napoleon. Napoleon was an egomaniac who liked war. Napoleon had to borrow money to pay for his armies and their supplies. And he borrowed, I believe, from the Bank of Rothschild. For those of you into conspiracy theories, and still goes back to the Rothschilds. And by the way, the Rothschilds just put the president of France in there. Macron was a former banker for Rothschild, if you think this is all fantasy. So nevertheless, I think Napoleon bankrupted France because he could not pay back the loans he needed to build his army. Do you understand that countries go bankrupt? Do you remember Argentina? Do you remember Argentina? You remember Venezuela? These nations are bankrupt. Well, right now it's Venezuela is bankrupt because of socialism. Argentina, in the years past, went bankrupt, and what they did was renegotiate their debt. What does that actually mean? Are we now like a third world nation, and we're going to renegotiate our debt? Is that the long-term plan here? Is that what Trump has in mind? Bust the Treasury, then go to China and say, we want to renegotiate the debt? Is that what we're doing here? Is that the country you want to live in? I thought we were going to get fiscal conservatism. It's that simple. Yeah, well, we don't know which way the wind is blowing right now, and we'll have to wait and see. And, oh, here's a great soundbite that I really should play at this juncture. But I think I'm going to wait for Ben Sasse, a Republican in Nebraska, where he says what Trump just did is the opposite of draining the swamp. And Senator Sasse is a true conservative, by the way. He's not one of the fake variety. You know, let's play clip 10.
What we're doing in this body today is not draining the swamp. What we're doing is running a whole bunch of hoses to the edge of the swamp, turning them on to the highest possible volume flow, and then turning our backs on the swamp and shouting, there's nothing to see here. That's what we're doing. We're doing the opposite of draining the swamp today.
All right. I don't think he's alone in his observations. I want you to listen to clip 11 again of Ben Sasse of Nebraska. Listen to what he has to say and tell me if you agree with his position in number 11.
Do your constituents know that Chuck Schumer, whose title is minority leader, not majority leader, just made himself the most powerful man in America for the month of December. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi now have most of the cards for when we get to December. This is an embarrassing moment for a Republican-controlled Congress and a Republican administration.
I think that says it all, honestly. That's exactly what just happened here. I was stunned when I saw Nancy Pelosi taking a victory lap. Here is a woman who had been consigned to the dust heap of history. She was down and out. Her own party had turned on her for being irrelevant, out of touch with the constituency. They wanted her gone. And suddenly now she has the gavel back in her hand, all because Trump reinvigorated her, along with the wonderful assassin of our time, Schumer. Schumer is a political assassin. I think we mustn't forget that we do have some victories along the way. Some things have happened that are good. And I can start at the top of the list by saying he did appoint Mr. Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. However, I would put a caveat on that one as well, because I've long feared from the beginning that Gorsuch is not a true conservative. I fear that even if he had conservative leanings, the Supreme Court appointee, when it comes down to it, he'll become another Roberts, and he'll wind up doing to us what Roberts did to us. So I wouldn't even celebrate the Supreme Court appointment yet. But on the economy, you got to admit the economy is doing better than it would have been doing. And let's look at the negatives if you don't want to look at the positives. Has Trump attempted to assassinate the First Amendment, as Hillary would have from the first week? Hillary has long said she wanted talk radio gone. Trump is not doing that. And what about our tremendous need to control our future by owning firearms, the Second Amendment? Do you actually think Trump would ever touch that? Absolutely not. Do you think Hillary would have touched that? Absolutely so. So there are things that we should be thankful for. Are we getting 10% of what we asked for? 20%? Maybe it's somewhere in that range right now. But that's 10 to 20% more than we would have had with Hillary, where we'd be at a minus 120%. So don't give up yet. Savage to Donald Trump, come in. Report from the real America. We are the real dreamers, Mr. Trump, not the illegal hordes that didn't belong here to begin with. Why are you appeasing them? How did you go along with two of the worst politicians in American history? How, Mr. Trump, is what we're saying. We exist. There are 60 million of us. What, we've become all of a sudden the deplorables to you too? Well, anyway, that's one man's opinion. Sometimes you like it and sometimes you don't. What do you want me to do? Say he's great no matter what he does? How stupid can many of you be telling me he knows what he's doing, he's outsmarting everyone, he's on another plane, you don't know what he knows, he's playing four-dimensional chess while you're playing checkers? That's my line, by the way. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. He's been turned. He's been hoodwinked. He has been turned. He's been hoodwinked. What did he give us? Nothing. Did he cut one government program? Did he say at the same time, did he throw us so much as a DNA strand of bone? Did he say, I'm cutting Planned Parenthood to pay for Harvey? Or I am cutting NPR to pay for Harvey? Or I am cutting many, many wasteful programs, and here they are. Did he say I'm forcing the tech giants to pay their fair share of taxes by taxing their offshore accounts at 50%, and I'm doing it by executive order because they're hiding trillions of dollars of money that should have been reported in America and on which taxes should have been paid, and that will pay for Harvey and then some. He didn't do any of that. How could you be attacking me for giving you the truth? Is truth that threatening to you? Now, I want you to listen to Nancy Pelosi gloating in her own bumbling way about turning Trump in clip 2. You got to hear this.
No, it wasn't quick. See, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons I decided to share so much with you this morning, because I was reading on TV. We went in there, we put it on the table, boom, out the door. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was a very long, intense conversation. Now, I'm an appropriator, so I've had a little bit of an advantage in my view on...
You're a thief.
And when I said to the president, left to our own devices, the appropriators, Democrats and Republicans, can work together to have a compromise on what we should do.
Wait a minute. The appropriators, what a great word that is. That has kind of quite a deep meaning, Nancy. You certainly are an appropriator. You appropriate that which is not yours. You steal from the Treasury in order to gain public opinion on your side. This is sickening. So she's now an appropriator. Boy, is that well said. Oh, that's good. Then she talks about old Chuck. I'll just let the words speak for themselves. In 03, here's old Nancy talking about old Chuck.
It's when the poison pills come from on high that there's a problem of legislating on an appropriations bill. So we had those kind of, shall we say, clarifications that went along. But it was a long meeting. And I was very proud of the Senate Minority and Senate Democratic leader, Chuck Schumer. He could speak New York to the
president. She's quite a wit, that Nancy. Yes, indeed. He can speak New York to the president, and the sheep will laugh. That's suddenly great humor. Wow, what a world I live in. Millions of years of evolution to live around such stupidity. I've never seen anything like it. Well, no, let's talk about the hurricane. That's something we know nothing about. Everyone in radio now is an expert on meteorology. This one says it's fake news. It's not really a hurricane when islands have been engulfed. The next one says that it was caused by global warming when there's no evidence to that effect. See, there have been hurricanes for years before industrialization, but that wouldn't tell that to the science-deprived minds in the media. And there it is. We're waiting for the big... Oh, there was an explosion in London. They're blaming it on a power network. Ha, ha, hardy, har, har. A power network set off a bomb on London's Oxford Street. Ha, 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 ha. That's the report coming out of the new mayor of London. A person didn't do it. Blew up Oxford Street. But that was done by a sewer that blew up from all the sausages that were eaten there in London that day. Anyway, let me go to michaelsavage.com, my new website. It's old but new. It's now just michaelsavage.com, home of the Borders Language Culture. There's something I want to point out on it, which is not about me, it's about my dog. If you click on main menu, then you go to Savage's iCamera. I'm an amateur photographer. I have been for a long time. Everyone is today. But I actually come from a camera background. Now I'm lazy. I only use the 7 Plus for my pictures. And the pictures are interesting. I mean, I take them here, I take them there. I have not captioned any of them. But they're interesting enough for me to put up there. A fountain, a medieval screen, a landscape, a meal I had, a church, a poodle, a garden, a street in North Beach, a house, just stuff like that. And I have many more pictures to come. And then there's a whole thing called Teddy's Corner. And I've not put up any new pictures of old Ted. There's a new one on the left and a new one on the right. He's almost all white now.
I'll be right back. Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. Storm just passed through, the political storm that is. It says, after Trump deal, Pelosi predicts greater leverage for Dems. Isn't that nice? That's what we got out of the whole election? This creature from the lagoon, Nancy Pelosi, who her own party wanted to get rid of, now she's back with a vengeance. Something's wrong with this whole picture. But if you want to live in a dreamland and you want to tell yourself he's smart, he's playing chess, and you don't know what he's doing, go ahead. Whatever. Whatever. What a weekend it's going to be. Everyone's going to sit home. Like, instead of watching sports, you're going to watch hurricane damage. That's what people stay home now, like popcorn, beer. Instead of watching baseball, football, basketball, bowling, girls volleyball in Santa Monica. You're going to watch hurricane footage all weekend long. I don't understand. Well, it's human. It's like a crash on the side of the road. Everyone looks at it. It's like you're driving, like rubberneckers. It's like a nation of rubberneckers. Chris Christie seeking cable news job. Yeah, he'll be a real hit. It was a big hit on radio. He should be an even bigger hit on cable television. They can't get a job. Everybody wants to get in on the act. I'll tell you who would be good on television or radio, now that I think about it. Maxine Waters could be good on television. She is such a whack job. She has such crazy eyes. She's such a clear liar. She's perfect for MSNBC. Perfect. Attention, Pill Griffin. If you're looking for new talent, to boost your ratings. You could do no better than Crazy Maxine. Talking politics. Gunmakers battle Trump slump as sales fall. Look at that. An unexpected consequence of Trump winning. In other words, Obama was such a threat to our survival, we ran out and bought 5 guns each and 5,000 bullets, waiting for the government to take over. But now that we're not afraid of Trump, what, people are not buying guns? No, that's crazy. That's a great story. 48 hours away. I hope it blows off. I hope it comes and goes, you know. The hurricane of illegal aliens, the illegal alien tsunami has swept over America, and we elected a man to stop it by building a wall, etc. And then we wake up one day and we find out and we discover, shockingly, that Pelosi told him what to say. Schumer celebrates it. He did not negotiate for one item on our agenda. Not one program in the government was cut. Not one nickel of the budget was cut. Instead, they just spent like it's unlimited money. They could just keep printing money, undermining our currency. How in the world do you expect me to get up and do a show every day if I'm not going to tell you the truth, or at least the truth as I see it? If you consider this disloyalty, you don't know what loyalty is. Never forget where my loyalty lies. My first loyalty lies to the truth, which is truth and God are very similar. In fact, truth and God are almost the same thing. And my first loyalty lies to the truth, not to a man. That's number one. Number two, my second loyalty lies to my audience, not to a president. I don't care who's wearing the suit. I don't care who's wearing the skirt. My first loyalty lies to my audience. I have built this relationship over 20 some odd years. And this relationship is more important to me than an ice cream summit with the president. And if you think that I don't know what this will cost me personally, you are quite wrong, my friends. Oh, I could just sit here and say all is well. He has a secret plan. He did it because the Democrats made him do it. He did it to show those Republicans. That's all rubbish. That is not at all what happened in my estimation. And that is all I am capable of giving you, which is my estimation. And never forget that I am not a politician. Never forget that I am a commentator. Never forget that I am not a journalist. I am a commentator. And I give you one man's opinion, and I call him as I see him. This is how I see it. And so what do you want me to do? Not call him as I see him? Then I'll become as irrelevant as those who sit here and talk about sports all day or talk about the weather all day when you're sitting on the edge of your seat trying to find out what's going on politically when a tsunami just hit us with what Trump did? You want me to sit here and make believe it didn't just happen? We were smacked both sides of the head. He smacked us on both sides of the head one day after the other. One day he agrees on the Dreamers with Schumer and Pelosi, two of the great assassins of our way of life. And the next day he agrees that he's going to raise the debt limit to no limit at all. There's no limit ever again. These are the exact opposite points of everything we ever voted for. Don't you remember the election, what went on? You don't remember Ron Paul? You don't remember Ted Cruz? You don't remember anything about what they said? I may not have supported them because I didn't think they could win. I supported Trump because I felt he could beat her. But they have great ideas. Their ideas did not die when they lost the primaries, did they? Did their voters go away? Where are you all? Have you all become that stupid that you don't know what's being done to you? No, there's no secret plan. You just got shafted and thrown on the roadside.
Savage.